What if I told you that all the sounds you hear in this video were made entirely from the recordings of an autumn forest? In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to capture any sound from the world around you and transform it into a playable instrument inside Ableton. From the voices of an autumn forest to finished music. You can download 2 of these instruments for free and listen to how they sound in an ambient music context at the end of this video. If this sonic world resonates with you, subscribe to World of Feeñ to unlock new instruments, production insights, performances, or become a beta tester for the World of Feeñ game that is coming very soon. Leave a like and share this video with others who might like it here. Now, let's go into the forest. It is a sunny autumn afternoon. The air has this particular sharpness, the kind that makes you pull up your shoulders slightly. The forest floor is carpeted in layers of copper and gold, crunching underfoot. This is when the forest speaks with fewer voices than in summer. But there's always a serenity in this moment of transition, something magical that is unique to this season. If you position your recording device, do it on a surface, a tree trunk or the floor to avoid handling noise. But if you like the challenge of standing perfectly still, you can hold it in your hand too, or get a special grip for it. Because the forest was so quiet and few birds sang, I had to turn up the input level of the microphone to what most recording artists would consider an unhealthy degree. But the white noise microphone amplifiers produce when you push them can be used in miraculous ways we will come to later in the video. Field recording is an act of attention. You're not just capturing audio, you're capturing a moment that will never exist again. And here's the truth many won't tell you. You don't need expensive equipment. Your smartphone is the most powerful field recording device. The magic isn't in the equipment. It's in the listening for this one sound or sequence of sounds that captures your imagination. Now we're back from the woods, and this is where the magic happens. I'm loading this autumn afternoon into Ableton. Import the sample with the method of your choice. I add folders in the Places section in the browser sidebar. Listen to the raw material first. Scrub through until you find something that you like. Something with musical potential, like the chirping of a bird. If you want to add texture to tonality, find a section that includes rustling leaves or a gust of wind. This is where the white noise I mentioned earlier comes into play. Although it usually is considered unwanted interference in field recording, white noise has this magic because it contains all frequencies of a certain bandwidth at equal intensity. In case of the human ear, between 20 Hz and 20,000 Hz or 20 kHz. So if we exaggerate certain frequencies, we can create a distinct tone from it. We will get to this shortly. First, you select your preferred part and drag it into an instance of the sampler plugin in Ableton. But you can do this with any sampler with similar options in any recording software. Your selected section appears in the sample properties window as a highlighted loop that you can now manipulate. The goal is to find a somewhat stable tone in order to later play chords that don't sound out of tune. Add an EQ, grab a frequency band and sweep through until you find a resonant frequency that produces a distinct tone. Then duplicate the EQ as many times as you need until the tone beautifully hovers over the noise. You should also cut out some of the low end you don't need. You can also choose a specific note from a frequency chart like this one and copy-paste it into one band of your EQ. I chose 261 to 262 Hz, which is C4 on the keyboard. Once you have your tone, you can record it as a single note onto a new audio track. Create the track and set its input to your sampler. Then press record and capture the single note. Again, we want this note to have texture, but we also want it to be clear enough to work in a chord. Now we are ready to create our instrument. Load a new instance of sampler and simply drag your newly recorded sample onto it. The forest is now an instrument. But we are not done yet. There are many ways to further manipulate the sound. If you choose a frequency with the sweeping method, you should transpose the tone to a C here to make it easier to combine with other instruments later. With this particular instrument, I want to create an ethereal, evolving pad, an harmonic backdrop that a lead melody can play over. First, we switch to the modulation oscillator for some character. You can use different waveforms to either modulate the filter or the amplitude. You can make these adjustments to your taste. I like the sound how it is now, and I switch next to the sampler's filter and global section. Here we can set the filter and the filter envelope, which shapes the frequency response over time when you play a key. And here you have the envelope for the volume or amplitude I mentioned earlier. As we established, we want the signal for a pad to slowly come in when we hit the key, and to slowly fade away when we release it. And finally, let's give the instrument the majestic size and depth of an old, mystical forest with some effects. You can add whatever additional effects you like, but a grand reverb is a must. I add an echo effect for a vintage tape sound and a big reverb for the ethereal sound. Think of a forest framed by canyons or rolling hills, reflecting all the voices and sounds coming from among the trees. It takes some time until these reflections come back, so set the pre-delay accordingly. And set a long decay so that it slowly subsides without it overlapping too much when you play. And here is how it sounds in context. This is the moment the instrument truly becomes yours. When you play it, when you let intuition guide your fingers towards melodies the forest might have been dreaming all along. By the way, this ethereal lead you hear is also created from another section of the same audio file. You can download both instruments for your own music making for free. Just click the link in the description. The journey from field recording to instrument is more than technical craft. It's a form of translation, of honoring the world's inherent music by transforming it through your imagination. If this process has inspired you, go outside, find your own sonic moments, capture the rain on pavement, the hum of the city, the sounds that surround you, the conversation of birds. Wherever you are and with whatever equipment is at hand, bring those sounds home and transform them into your own musical voice. If you have already been recording sounds out there yourself, what are your thought processes, your techniques? Share your stories below in the comments and let us explore listening to the world together. Keep creating and build the world with your imagination. We need it more than ever.